It's a very concerning human rights situation, given that since the coup d'etat of October 25th, Sudan has been in a daily scene of violence. Basically, regular Sudanese forces are confronting peaceful protesters who are demanding a return to civilian-led transition to democracy with disproportionate and lethal power, using live ammunition to disperse protests, leading to the 78 people killed. But it's not only that. These forces are conducting themselves as total thugs in sometimes beating protesters to take away their valuables, such as, telephones or money they have on them. We have seen them shooting tear gas canisters inside hospitals. They have prevented ambulances carrying the wounded to emergency rooms from reaching hospitals and so on and so forth. So this conduct is totally unlawful, and the use of live ammunition against people who are just expressing their opinion is really disproportionate and uncalled for. Not only that, forensic evidence indicates that most of those killed, upward of 90%, were killed by snipers with bullets to the head and to the upper abdomen and to the upper chest, which means there is an intention to eliminate and kill protesters on a targeting basis using sniping fire. The situation in Khartoum is very worrying. We have seen government forces and allied movements that have signed, some of the allied movements that have signed a peace agreement with the government, looting the warehouses of the Wealth Food Program in al-Bashir in western, in the capital of northern Darfur. And they have also raided and looted the assets of the United Nations peacekeeping missions. And these are the people who are supposed to protect the civilians, who are supposed to protect assets of the states and to preserve its good standing in international relations. So the picture is very worrying, madam. The use of excessive violence is an indication of their failure to rule the country, because from day one, and even before the announcement of the Paris communique of the coup d'etat, protesters, massed in the streets across Sudan, refusing and rejecting any pretense for the security services to take power. Most of those people, and you can see the evidence in the footage you are displaying, are young people who have come of age under 30 years of Omar al-Bashir. And Sudan is more than 70% under 30 years of age. And they don't want to live the rest of their lives under another military dictatorship, such as General Abdel Fattah speaking here, the leader of the coup d'etat. So that is the main motivation. It's a generational phenomenon. And that's why this resistance, this protest movement, which is adhering, very strictly to non-violence, is, not easily intimidated. They are willing to die to protect their rights for dignity and for freedom. And this is the significance of this movement. You see, it's young people, women and men, and everyone in the population. They are able to mobilize the population, and they follow them in, recurrent and very well scheduled and organized and mobilized protests that have continued since the 25th of October and will be continuing in the coming weeks and months as well. Is leading an initiative to facilitate dialogue among Sudanese political actors so that they can agree on a unified position on the charter for the transitional period, which should return civilians to the leadership of the transition to democracy in the country. And these discussions have been accepted by major political actors in Sudan. And the UN has also spoken to the resistance committees, the grassroots groups that are organizing this protest, and there is a dialogue that is ongoing. My concern is that the time it would take to reach consensus among civilian actors is going to be a bit long at a time when the economy in Sudan is on the verge of collapse, at a time when 1/3 of the Sudanese population is in need of food assistance by UN count. And therefore, there will be a convergence of, the collapse of the economy and, a humanitarian crisis hitting Sudan if international actors and Sudanese political actors do not act with more of a sense of urgency to reach this consensus and return Sudan to a peaceful path by a civilian-led leadership to democratic rule and civilian-led rule in the country.